Hello everyone, it's another Python class. So this will actually be our official last class in Python for this bootcamp, right? So do I plan to drop a bonus video on handling files in Python, but this will be the official last class in Python. So let's get into the class. So our focus is GUI programming with Python, right? Now it's possible to make GUI applications with Python, so we use a library called Tkinter, right? So some people do call it Tkinter, but some people do call it Tkinter, but officially it is Tkinter, right? Inter for interface. So that's how it should be pronounced, but you can call it anyhow. The way you call it does not really matter. Right. So now at the end of this lesson, you should understand the basic structure of a Tkinter application. You should be able to create a GUI window with title and size. You should be able to use widgets like label, entry, and button. You should be able to implement event handling using functions and commands. You should be able to display pop-up messages using message box. Right, you should be able to apply basic styling, colors, padding, and fonts. You should be able to add, reset, and exit functionality, and so on. Alright, so what exactly is Tkinter? So Tkinter is Python's standard library for creating graphical user interfaces, GUIs. It provides a way to build applications with interactive visual elements like buttons, menus, and so on. Right? So it's just one of Python's libraries. One of the things that make Python popular and a choice for many is because it has a lot of libraries. It has a lot of libraries. You can check it out. You can search it out Python libraries. We have the NumPy, we have SciPy, a lot of them, matplotlib, and all those data analysis libraries. Alright, so we're focusing on Tkinter today. So what can Tkinter do? It can be used to create graphical user interfaces. It can be used to create simple games like tic-tac-toe or snake games and all those stuff. It can be used to create like visual quiz, GUI quiz, and also it is used for desktop applications too, like all these utility tools like calculator, to-do list, timer, and so on. Now all what you've done previously up to now is called CLI, command line interface. So right now we are going to do GUI, so you can actually do the GUI for your previous codes too. So by the time we are done with this lesson, you should understand how to go about Tkinter, but we are not really covering everything there is to know about Tkinter. We are just covering like the things you'll be using most commonly, right? So let's dive in. I'm going to be using my VS to code, and then I'm going to be pasting the code into IDLE here to run it. So the first thing we want to do is to import Tkinter module itself. So we're importing it as TK, right? And then from the Tkinter library, we are importing message box, right? Doing that. So what's the first thing we want to do? The first thing we want to do is we want to create a window, right? We want to create a form of window with this a form of Tkinter window. I want to create a Tkinter window. So to do that, we can just say tk.tk. This creates a basic Tkinter window, but then we have to assign this to a variable. Let's call that variable window. Alright, so we have created a basic window, a basic Tkinter window. So we can give it a title, we are using window, so whatever you are doing window dot. So window dot title, this gives it a title, and that will be in parentheses here. So the title should be a string, login page, right? Login page. If you actually run this code at this point, you won't get this is just what you get, right? You have created the window already. It's just what you get. All right. Now we can set the size of the window. Let's say window dot geometry. So the geometry function is used for setting the size. It's used for setting the size of the window. So that's going to take a string, and the string will be the width times height. Width times height, like this, width times height. So you replace this by the actual values, right? You replace this by the actual values. For instance, if I enter 300 times 200, so it gives me this. It gives me this. Okay. All right. So let me just increase this a bit. 400 by 200. Okay. So I have this. Or I could just say 500 by 300 here. Okay. So I have something much larger. Alright. Okay, so back to VS Code here. Alright. Now, if you want to add a background color, you use what we call the configure. Window dot configure. So to give the background, you can use the BG, or you just say background. Yeah, you want to put it, and then the background will be, you specify the color in a string. So if I just put red here, so you see, that's just what it gives, red. But I don't want to use this red. Let's use something like light blue. Now you can also use X codes, right? You can use X code. For instance, this light blue, if I open my browser and check, light blue, X code. I check the X code for light blue. This is not okay. Let me check it again. Light blue X code. Oops, I've got an issue. It's supposed to show me capture. Let's just leave this. Let's just leave this to avoid wasting of time. So let's get back to our code here. So I'm using light blue. Using light blue. Good. Now there's something you should always do. At the end of your Tkinter apps, you should put what we call this window dot main loop. This main loop just ensures that your code keeps running, that your GUI keeps running, right? So we use this window that you have created dot main loop, then this parenthesis must be there. Let's update our code here. So this is the light blue that we used. Cool. Alright, so what else do we want to do now? This should be at the end of all your GUI projects, so you might want to move that down. Good. So now let's move further. Now we want to create a login page, right? We want to create a login page. So the first thing we want to put here is the title. Now to put title in a GUI, you use a widget. In GUI projects, Tkinter uses widgets, right? We use widgets. So we have a widget called label, we have a widget called entry, and a lot of others like that. So I'm going to say title label equals tk dot label. Alright, so the now this is how you put when you want to put a text. This is how you put it. Use this label widget. Right, now the first thing you need to enter here is the what do we call it now, the master of this label, meaning that the parent of this label. Now the parent of this label will be this window, right? Because we have created a window and we want to put this label into it. So you put window. You have your comma here. Now the text you want to put there as strings. Let's call it user login. So you put a comma. You always separate the contents of this with commas. Separate with commas. Then the next thing we want to put is fonts. So you can put that in brackets again. You can indicate okay, Arial, or maybe Times New Roman or some other font. Arial. Then you can specify the size also, maybe size 16, and then you can specify the whether it should be bold or whatever. Bold. So this is going to give us a bold form of this user login. Then you can set the background. Now remember, the background should be the same background as the window. Now if we put a different background here as yellow, you see what that will get us. So let's run this and see what that gets us. Oh, there's something I'm yet to do. Right, now what I'm yet to do is that I have not placed this label. You have to always place your widgets before they work, right? I'm going to say, remember this label is saved in a variable called title label. So you're going to say title label dot pack. Now this pack function is to place this title, right? To place it. And then we are going to use something called pad y. Now what does that mean? Padding, this pad is to just add padding, to add spaces, right? Pad y is to add spaces vertically, maybe up and down, while pad x is to add it left or right. So pad y, we're going to give it something like maybe 10 here. It's going to add 10 pixels up and down like that. So by now we should see our title label displayed, right? You should see it displayed. Alright, so this user login. Now, like I said, the background we gave it showed like this. So if we don't want it to look odd like this, let's just give it the same background as the window, as the main window. So let's give it light blue. Light blue like that. Alright. So what's the next thing we want to do here? Next thing we want to do is put an entry field where users can enter username and password, right? Okay. Now the first thing we want to put is the username label. So we say username label equals what? Now just like the other one, tk.label, and the first thing we specify is the parent, which is the window, right? Then the text to be displayed, which is what? Username, not username, sorry, username. So you might want to do this, okay? And then the background we want to give it is our light blue background that we'll be using. So username label dot pack, pack that also, username label dot pack. Now we have put the username label, we are left with the field, the entry field for username. We can say username instead of label. Now username entry equals tk dot, so guess what will be here? Instead of label, it will be entry. Now take note that the entry has to be like this. All these widgets, see, label starts with a capital letter here, and this entry starts with a capital letter, not a small letter. That's how it is. So tk dot entry, right? And we're just going to put window as the offspring. Window is the offspring. Now you probably want to ask, why don't we put stuff like this, text and whatever? Now this is to display text, this one is to get text, so we don't really need to specify any text. To just be, what do we call it now, an input field, though you should be able to specify width and height of it, but let's leave that for now. Okay, so I just want to close my VS Code and restart it. Alright, so now that we have the username entry, let's get it packed. Username entry dot pack, username entry dot pack, and then we're going to pad it. Let's say pad y equals 5. So I have to give it padding. So let's try to see what we have been doing so far. Right, so you see here we have an entry field, we have an entry field here. Good. Now let's add our password label and entry field also. So I have the password label equals to what? That will be tk.label, and then the parent will be window. The parent will be window. The text will be password. And then the background also, we leave it as our light blue background. Light blue. Okay, so password label.pack. Again, our password entry. So that will be tk.entry. Then we have the window as the parent. Now, one other thing we might want to put here is we want it to, now it's a password, so it shouldn't display our password, right? Right now, if we run this, well, yet to put an entry field for it. Probably we have not packed it. Okay, password entry dot pack. Let's also put pad y for it. 5, like that. Let's terminate this. Okay, let's terminate. Alright, so if you type the password, we shouldn't be able to see the password, right? So that's where this comes in. You can say show, meaning that how should it show what you are entering. So we are going to show it as star. It's going to show star, right? It's going to show star. So now that we are done with that, we can advance further to add our buttons and then the function for the buttons, right? Now we want to give a assign values to the username and password. So we say username equals admin, right? So then password password equals 1 2 3 4 5. Now we define a function called login, and that will be for our button. So now under this function, we're going to assign this username. Now we are going to get an input from user, right? Remember that we have a username entry here, so we are going to assign it to this user variable. We are going to say user name entry. Alright, we are going to use what we call .get. Now this .get, what does it do? What it does is that it gets the input of this .get gets the input of this, right? And now we are assigning that which it gets, we are assigning it to this user, right? Assigning to this variable called user. Then pwd, that's password, equals to password entry dot get, right? Cool. So if user equals let's say if the user has not entered the username, sorry. So if the remember that this user is the entry gotten from here. Why is this still showing here? Okay, I get why. Now this user is the entry gotten from this username. So if it is currently empty, if there's nothing inside, so we can say message box. Now this message box was imported earlier, and we can use it to show error or to show success. You can see message box dot show warning. You see, show info, show warning, show error, show warning. That will be a mild warning. What do we want to be there? Now we want the title to be warning, right? Warning. So we're going to say username cannot be empty. Username cannot be empty. So let's put an exclamation mark there. Alright. Now, what if the user has entered something? So now, if the user equals, now this user, that's the username gotten from the user. If it is equal to this that we have declared here, if it is equal to this username here, this username, which is admin, if it is equal, and also if the pwd is also equal to the password that we have earlier declared here. So if both username and password are equal, so we're going to say message box dot show info. This is not show error or show warning. It's to show info. It's to show information. If okay, the password is correct, the username is correct, let's show that you have logged in successfully. So we can say login success, right? Login success. So we can now welcome the user with an F string here. So I say F welcome. Okay, so we dynamically input this user, right? Meaning that this username, whatever was entered, welcome. Cool. Now else, meaning that whatever is different from this, then that would be an error. Whatever is different from these two, if the username is not empty and then this is not equal to this, what else? Meaning that probably if the username or the password is not correct, say message box dot show error. I'm going to say login failed. This will be the title of the stuff, and then we say this is the actual message: invalid login details. Invalid login details. Cool. Now this is the function, but we are yet to get the button, right? Now let's create a login button. Let's say login button. Login button equals what? tk dot what? Now it will not be label, it will not be entry, this will be button. tk dot button. Yeah, you can have something like that, tk dot button. So then we put it in the window. So the parent is window, right? The parent is window. And the text, meaning that what will be shown on the button, that will be login, right? Now the command means what does it do? What does that button do? Now we want the button to do this function, to check if username is equal to username and this, and print this, right? So command equals to this login that has been previously defined. No, it will not be a string, rather it will be login because it has been declared, right? It has been declared. Now the background of the button, you can just set the background to green, and then we can set the foreground. You can set the foreground to maybe white. Right? Background is the background color of the button, while the foreground will be color of the items in the button, right? So let's see how we are doing now. I think this should be good to go. We have our username label and the entry field. We have our password label and the entry field. We have the username variable and the password. We have defined the function for checking the login details, and we have assigned the function to this button. So let's see how we are doing. Let's close this. Okay. So I'm running this now. Okay. No, something is wrong somewhere. Oh, I'm here to pack the login button. So login button dot pack. Now I'm going to give it padding, pad Y. I'm going to give it 10. So let's come back here and run this. Alright, so we have our username, password, and login. So it says username cannot be empty because I clicked it without entering anything. So what if I enter the random stuff? It says invalid login details. Right? Now here I want to enter the real one. That's admin, and then 1 2 3 4 5. So you see it's showing star because we have set it to be like that. So welcome admin, welcome admin. That's just it. That's just it. So you might want to add something like an exit button or a reset button to clear what you have entered. You can just def reset. I'm sorry. Okay, so this reset function is going to clear everything. Username, entry dot delete. Okay, from the beginning to the end, right? It's going to delete from, remember that the indexing of strings is from 0, right? Indexing in Python is from 0, so it's going to delete from 0 till the end. Okay, then password entry dot delete, also from 0 till the end. Okay, all right. We want to add an exit also. So exit app, so we're going to use this destroy, no, window. I'm used to using this root because root is common, so window, not root. We're going to destroy the window, so window dot destroy. I'll put this there. Then the buttons for these functions. So reset button equals tk dot button. As usual, I'm going to put it in the window. So window is the parent, right? And the text will be reset as strings. Okay, and the command, what does it do? Will be to do what? To reset, to use that function reset. The background, let's give it the background of something like maybe orange. Okay, so let's give it a foreground of maybe white. Then we are going to pack it. Reset button dot pack. I'm going to give it a padding, pad y, maybe 5, so that there won't be too much spacing there. Then we have the exit button. So equals to tk dot button also. Okay, you have the window as the parent. Window is the parent. Then the text will be exit. And the command will be this exit app. The background, because it's something, is a kind of dangerous button because it closes everything. Let's give it a red. Okay, red. And the foreground, let's give it white. Cool. Now let's pack the exit button also. So exit button dot pack. And let's also give it a pad y of 5. So now let's run it and see what we get. Alright, so we have a username, password, and then login. So what happens when I've entered everything here and I click reset? It's going to clear everything. That's what that does. It's going to clear everything. So what happens when I click exit? It's going to close. So that's just how to create GUI applications with Tkinter. So there are so many things you could do with that. You can do calculator, to-do list stuff, and stuff like that. So alright, thank you for joining the lesson.